Big Dark 2, Demon Day by Rob Harper. Part 4.
The plan for the remainder of the squad to sneak through occupied Belgium to try and catch the Fallen on his way to Cologne was flawed from the beginning. None of us spoke German and my skin tone wasn't exactly Aryan. This didn't deter Harry though, he was a man on fire. If any patrol even looks at us twice, we were done for. It was only a matter of time.
Cole, can you find us the quickest route to Cologne from here? None of these goddamn roads go straight.
Well, I'm trying, sir. Harry was right about one thing. There was no straight line to Cologne from here, especially trying to avoid the bigger towns that would have Nazis all over them. Then our luck ran out. A roadblock up ahead, manned by a tank, set the jiggers up. We were approaching Germany, and the land was becoming a dense forest. Our choices were limited. Now, a reasonable leader would have just said turn around. Harry was no longer reasonable, he was driving.
Sir, what are you doing?
Harry revved the truck, and we all grabbed what we could to hold on. The truck slammed against the tank and actually pushed it back a few feet. Wilson banged his head against the dashboard, and I couldn't tell if he was dead or alive. I looked out the shattered windshield to see a couple of Nazis pinned to the tank by the truck. They must not have expected such an insane action. Harry jumped out of the driver's side door and started firing his pistol. I jumped out too. If it was going to be the end, at least I would go down firing.
Kill them all!
I heard a few more of our group start to fire from positions behind the ruined truck, but not enough. Some of us didn't make it. Our element of surprise had knocked out the initial resistance, but as Harry and I rounded the tank, we knew we were done. A full squad of Germans was taking up positions to repel what they probably thought was a full-on attack. We were soon pinned behind the tank, and it wouldn't have taken long for the Nazis to flank us.
It can't end like this.
Just then, a new force charged out of the trees on either side of the road and started shooting at the exposed Germans. They themselves had been flanked by what looked like the most ramshackle force in the war. The rest of the Nazis were quickly dispatched, and I threw up my arms. We're Americans, don't shoot! One of the group walked up to us and laughed.
Well, I did not think, those Nazi bastards. They were desperate enough to have your kind with them. And that, over there was one screaming, so loud in Anglais. We could not mistaken you for a German swine. Are you people insane?
We quickly explained our situation, minus the parts where we deserted, and the resistance warned us about going into Cologne.
I would not go to Cologne, my friend. We have heard over the broadcasts that Cologne is not the place that you would want to be. The invasion is not going so well. I'm afraid your government is getting desperate.
We're going after him.
With who? Your men are all dead or wounded. It is only you and the Negro left.
I'll go alone if I have to.
Well, I'm going with you.
Cole, I can't.
No excuses. Now, I'm going with you.
It is how you Americans say, your funeral. I will take your wounded back to our safe houses. One way or another, this war is ending soon. I will try to get word out to your people.
Thank you.
With that, Harry starts walking. I catch up and we were heading off into the darkness. One way or the other, this war was ending for us. Harry ditches his Nazi uniform. No point in trying to blend in now. We eventually cross into Germany, past the patrols, and steal a car. I have no idea what we will do once we get into Cologne. The place was pretty big, and even if it was mostly destroyed by our bombing, it'd be like looking for a needle in a haystack. John, we've got to stop. Even if we do catch him, we'll be in no shape to fight. Harry relents and we pull off the road and hide the car. We build a small fire and eat what's left in our supplies. Harry looks wild and on the edge of madness. I think, and not for the first time, that I should have stopped him in Kane, or any of the other places I had the chance. At least for his own sake. Harry suddenly looks up at me.
My wife left me just after I joined up.
I have nothing to say.
We were perfect together. We complemented each other in every way. We had 2 sons.
Harry started to get choked up. I felt like we were in a confessional then.
We had 2 sons. Then the darkness fell. We stayed put. We thought it would be over soon. Eventually I had to go and try to find food. When I got home,
I didn't need to hear more. I had heard the story a million times. Those first few months of the Big Dark were literally hell. Harry continued on anyway, his story becoming disjointed, and the pain of telling it became too much.
I found her on the floor crying. The knife was still in her hand. My sons were dead. She had killed the thing that did it. It was a Fallen. She actually killed a Fallen with a kitchen knife. I should have been there. Colm, tell her I died a hero.
John, wait now, no one's...
Promise me, and give her this.
Harry hands me a crumpled letter. He had obviously been carrying it since we jumped. It had an address on it, and nothing else. I promise.
Good.
Harry pulled his sidearm and shot me in the knee. The pain was excruciating.
I'm sorry, but there's no use both of us dying.
That was the last time I saw Lieutenant John Harry. I passed out, and when I woke up, the blood had stopped. The car and John were gone. I dragged myself back the way we came. We had seen a barn on a small farm. I was just trying to get there. I eventually did. I didn't know if the farm was occupied, didn't much care. I field dressed my knee as best I could and waited. I didn't know what I was waiting for. After what seemed like must have been a few days, there was a sound of a single bomber overhead. One bomber, one bomb. There was a giant explosion in the distance. At the time, I didn't really know what had happened. Only later did I learn that our government had dropped an experimental bomb on Cologne. It vaporized the city and ended the war. The night sky lit up like day for the first time. I passed out again. When I regained consciousness, I saw a farmer with a pitchfork, and I assumed my time had come. He was motioning with his tool and yelling in German at someone else. Through my haze, another face filled my view. War and Peace. Maybe I was dying. War and Peace? Is that you? Of all the people here to see on my way to heaven.
Sorry, buddy. No heaven for you. And call me Warren Buchanan now, okay?
Warren's squad had been tracking us since we left Kane, and finally caught up, but it was too late. We made it out of Germany, and the war ended. No one, not even the Fallen, wanted to tangle with the bomb.
Epilogue.
I limped up my quiet lane. It's been about a month since I got home stateside, and I've been putting off this for far too long. Once the bomb was dropped, they say FDR died when it hit. I don't know about that, but I do know the world won't be the same. The Nazis, with their fallen allies, may have just been defeated, but I think the true war has just begun. Those devilish bastards won't try anything so overt anytime soon, and that scares me. I look at the note Harry gave me. The address scrawled on the outside tells me I'm close. I walk up the sidewalk to the small, well-kept home. I mount the stairs and my heart is in my throat. I knock. The door opens and I see Harry's ex-wife for the first time. And for the first time since Nemma died, I feel something inside me.
Can I help you?
Mrs. Harry?
It's Ms. Airy, actually.
Of course. I'm sorry, ma'am. This is hard to say. The whole story goes through my head as I face Miss Airy. I don't tell her that her husband rode across France, Belgium, and eventually Germany to get revenge for the children they lost here in the States. I tell her he died a hero, defending our country. It's a lie, I'm sure, that is repeated many times across the nation. The people back home just don't need to know the true hell of war. It's best just to remember all those who died as heroes and move on.
Thank you, Sergeant. I can tell you were close to my ex-husband, and I'm sure you know what happened between us.
I nod. Just then a very small child runs up to her mother and latches onto her leg. She hides half behind her mother's legs and stares out at me. She's the most beautiful little girl I have ever seen. And who do we have here?
This is Mem. Mom! She doesn't know how to say her full name yet, so we just call her that. Her real name is Miriam.
Miriam, it can't be a coincidence. I think I'll have a conversation with Warren about this.
The end.
You know what's better than all those movies like The Avengers, or Iron Man, or Man of Steel, or Dark Knight Rises? You know what's better than all that?
The porn parodies that were released shortly after them.
And
And
Vinland Old Time Radio. You know why?
because today's youth want old-timey radio productions, variety shows via a podcast format.
Because the budget of the imagination is unlimited.
That. I'm going to trademark that. Trademark. Is that how trademarks work? You just blurt it out?
I think so.
Okay.
VinlandOldTimeRadio.podbean.com. Come for the funny. Stay for the alcohol.
And the budget of the imagination.